Wait for it.
It has been a while since we have had a chance to witness an event from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Captain America Brave New World perfectly fits into that role by referencing events from the MCU and connecting various dots. From a major reference to the events of Eternals to bringing in certain elements from the lesser-considered Incredible Hulk, this movie is a perfect sequel. Then there's the entire arc where Sam Wilson tries to live up to the title he shared with his colleague Steve Rogers. Let's go through the ending of Captain America Brave New World and various other elements that the movie references. Oh yeah, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please do subscribe to our channel. It may be a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
You want me? Come and get me!
Ending explained. Sam Wilson tries to uncover a nationwide plot that involves him and the President of the United States, Thaddeus Ross. He does manage to defeat the primary antagonist, Tim Blake Nelson's The Leader, making sure his plans fail and putting him in prison. But just when he thought the major threat was over, The Leader issued his backup plan by triggering Thaddeus's anger, which led him to become the Red Hulk. Yeah, Samuel Stearns had managed to feed gamma radiation in the form of pills to Ross as a means of saving him from dying. Ross saw the potential that Samuel's exposure to the gamma radiation directly onto his brain had to his powers and used him as a means of solving problems while holding him captive. It was about time that Stern figured out a way to escape and turn people into Kingsman-like people through certain triggers, which made them attack the people he targeted, including both President Ross and the new Captain America. We do get to know that the exposure, apart from disfiguring his head, has also given him the ability to find out every possible outcome and, in a way, predict the future and work accordingly. Now, while he fulfilled his plan of triggering a global war with the adamantium arc at the center, Captain America managed to stop it from going through and establish a treaty between the nations. Finally, with Ross, he turned into Red Hulk and laid out a crazy attack on the White House lawns, destroying almost half of the White House in the process. But, Sam Wilson managed to go through the usual means of calming Ross's Hulk down by taking him to where he would go for walks amongst the cherry blossoms. Even though the fight between them continued, after a while, things calmed down, and Ross returned to his human form. Ross was sent to the Raft, a high-security prison he once used to oversee when some of the Avengers were kept there following the events of Captain America Civil War. Sam himself was kept here and managed to escape when the then Captain America, Steve Rogers, came to the rescue. While it only made sense for Ross to be kept here, Sam brought him a visitor to close on his arc that was developed ever since the events of the Incredible Hulk, where Betty hated him for trying to kill Banner with his army. Finally, they get some closure on his arc, as Ross has promised to change his ways. I'm not sure if this change means he will join leagues with the Avengers in their upcoming events, though. Wait, what upcoming events, you mean? Well, the answer appears in the movie's post-credit scene. Sam visited not only Ross, but also the Leader at the Raft. Sam tries to mock Stearns by referencing their past conversation, but Stearns references something even more sinister. He states, "You want to know what's funny? I'm not in the mood for your jokes. We share the same world. Don't be so sure it's the one you would die to say. It's coming. I've seen it in the probabilities, seen it as plain as day. All you heroes protecting this world, do you think you're the only ones? Do you think this is the only world? We'll see what happens when you have to protect this place from the others." So, it references incursions, which we have witnessed frequently in recent MCU films, such as Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and Deadpool vs. Wolverine. He's talking about the heroes from other universes who will come across the heroes in this universe due to the incursion events in the arcs of future events like Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. The heroes from this other universe might be just alternate versions of the heroes we have seen in Earth 616, or, they could be completely original heroes we haven't seen yet. It's quite an interesting take on the post-credit scene, which Marvel failed to do in many recent MCU films. Almost all post-credit scenes didn't lead anywhere. They referenced major arcs that never got picked up in future products. Finally, we have something similar to what we saw in the early MCU films, Thanos being mentioned. introduction. The major Avengers event was mentioned softly yet subtly, which made sense. We've already witnessed some version of the incursion event when Monica Rambeau went to an alternate universe where Maria Rambeau was Captain Marvel, and even the X-Men existed with a Beast working alongside her. So yeah, the leader is someone who can predict and witness every probable outcome, and he might have had the chance to witness some version of the oncoming major events that the Avengers will be facing. In fact, one of the major releases from MCU is going to be Fantastic Four: The First Steps, which is clearly set in an alternate universe with a 60s vibe throughout, and that could very well lead up to the incursion event that the leader hinted at. Alright, now that we have some clarity about that ending from the leader, let's look at some of the other major details from this new, fresh addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The MCU Connections. Brave New World, aptly titled that way, references the other MCU projects by having massively derived plots. Carl Lumley, who nails his role, plays Isaiah Bradley, who fills up the Bucky arc as Stearns manipulate him to assassinate Ross. The manipulation is similar to how Bucky was manipulated in both Winter Soldier and Civil War, the previous two entries in the Captain America series. While we wondered why the entire Eternals event was hardly mentioned in MCU Phase 4, we finally see Tiamat emerge as a major plot point. The site, the Celestial Island in the Indian Ocean, is a source for the newfound element adamantium, which we know might have a major role to play in the future of the franchise. The movie was intended to be a sequel to Captain America, as it tried to justify Sam Wilson taking the helm of Captain America. However, it also became a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. With some major character appearances and some major Gamma references, it almost acted like what might lead up to a possible Planet Hulk arc. But then, it backed out. But who knows? Maybe the deleted Amadeus Cho sequences could have led up to that arc.
Captain America, to help me rebuild the Avengers.
The Avengers. One of the major plans that Ross had after becoming the president was to bring back the Avengers Initiative, and he got Sam Wilson to bring back the team. Even though we don't see many candidates for the Avengers Initiative in the film, Wilson does manage to get one recruit for this team right away, with Joaquin Torres as Falcon. We can only hope that Sam manages to form this team before Valentina puts together the Thunderbolts and uses them as her solution to the absence of the Avengers. They become the version of the Avengers we must look up to. Even though we haven't heard of the new Avengers yet, Wong already mentioned that Shang-Chi and Katie are now Avengers. So yeah, we have a new Avengers team already under development, and Sam Wilson will be the one putting the team together. The Thunderbolts might have their qualms with the Avengers based on their history, but it won't be surprising if we see the two team up in future events, considering Bucky would always team up with Sam, whatever chance he gets. Marvelous verdict. I only wish that Samuel Stearns had better utilization of this arc instead of being someone who hardly manages to make a solid appearance. Interestingly, the MCU is trying to connect all the dots they had spread out in the earlier entries to the franchise, but it should be worthy enough. The recent films have tried this a lot, with even Abomination having a solid appearance in 2 other MCU entries. But that doesn't justify just being there for fan service. While we wait for Ross getting an expanded arc in either Thunderbolts or a future MCU entry, it would be interesting to see how they utilize the leader's abilities. Tim Blake Nelson is an amazing actor, and it was really exciting to hear that he was gonna return to the MCU after his tiny role in The Incredible Hulk. But then again, we expected better usage of the actor. And that's the end of our video. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!